Nobody's coming to save you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner your life changes. See, we live in a world full of soft lies, empty comfort, and people hoping somebody else fixes what they broke. But let me tell you right now, hoping ain't a strategy, waiting ain't a plan, and praying without action is just procrastination with a spiritual cover-up. You keep scrolling for answers, buying courses you won't finish, blaming your past like it holds the pen to your future. But here's the truth, and yeah, it's gonna sting. No one's obligated to rescue you, not your mom, not your boss, not the system, not the government, not your friends. If you keep living like somebody owes you a second chance, you'll die waiting for one. That's why your dreams feel like ghosts, always close enough to haunt you, but never real enough to hold. You think somebody's gonna tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hey, it's your time now." Nah. Your time comes the moment you stop folding, stop crying, stop begging, and start building. This ain't about being fearless. It's about getting fed up, about getting so tired of being average, overlooked, broke, tired, stuck, and silent that you snap and say, "I'm done waiting. I'm building the version of me no one's ever seen before." You want to know what separates the lions from the sheep? Lions don't wait for help. They become the help. And if you're not ready to do that, you're not ready to win. I remember Miami. Not the palm trees and beach views you see in movies, but the cracked smoke in the air, the sound of gunshots at night, and that feeling, that heavy feeling, like every day might be the one that breaks you. I was a kid then, wide-eyed, smart, but surrounded by chaos. Had a boy, Terrence, ask me to sling weed for him in school, promising I'd make $300, maybe $500 a week. And for a second, yeah, it sounded good. But deep down, I knew that road ended in one of two places, dead or behind bars. Then there was Ready Ready, my OG, my guide, the one who saw something in me before I saw it in myself. He pulled me aside one day and said, "Don't be like me. Don't let this place eat you alive." I didn't fully get it then, but now I see the weight of that warning. I've had guns pulled on me, fists thrown at me, words used like weapons. I've seen my mom praise Jesus on Sunday and cuss my dad out on Monday. I've seen the good, the bad, and the broken, all in one house. Middle school, high school, the streets, the struggle. It tried to crush me, but every time life hit me, I hit back. Even when I was scared, even when I felt dumb, even when I thought I wasn't enough, I learned how to move through fear, to think fast, speak loud, stand tall, even when my knees shook. That's what built me. Not perfection, not peace. Pain built me. Pressure trained me, and perspective saved me. I became my own hero because waiting for one almost killed me. Let me ask you something. What lie are you still living in? What excuse have you married so tight you forgot it's the reason you're stuck? You say you're tired, but you keep scrolling. You say you want more, but you won't move. You want motivation to fall from the sky, but you won't even get up and make your bed. Listen, this ain't about motivation. Motivation is that fake friend that hypes you up, then ghosts you when it's time to grind. This is about transformation, real change, the kind that makes your old self uncomfortable. You keep waiting on a breakthrough, but the truth is, you've been breaking your own back, carrying fear, doubt, shame, and guilt like it's your birthright. You're not stuck because of life. You're stuck because you've chosen comfort over calling, convenience over commitment. And I get it. It's scary. Choosing to change means choosing to lose people. Choosing to grind means choosing to suffer now for success later. But that's the trade-off. You want to be different? Then act different, talk different, move different. You keep saying one day like you got forever. But I promise you, your clock's ticking, and there's no alarm loud enough to save you once it runs out. So stop asking when it gets easier. It doesn't. You get stronger, but only if you start. right now. No more hiding. No more hoping. It's time to choose who you really are. They lied to you. Yeah, I said it. They sold you comfort like it was success. Told you to play it safe, follow the rules, don't rock the boat, go to school, get a job, save up, retire, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be happy. But let me break that illusion. You ain't tired because you work too hard. You're tired because your soul knows you're settling. You wake up to an alarm you hate, rush into traffic you didn't choose, work a job that drains you, just to come home, eat something quick, scroll through fake lives on social media, and pass out on the couch, then repeat. That ain't living. That's slow death with Wi-Fi. And you think the problem is you? Nah. It's the system. It's the script. It's the silent agreement they made with you while you were too young to know better. They programmed you to think small, to fear failure, to believe that dreaming big is irresponsible. That's the real crime. They don't want you to question. They want you to comply, fit in, be quiet. And you did. You muted your greatness because they told you it was too much. You buried your ambition because they said be realistic. Well, I'm here to tell you, realistic is where dreams go to die. And if you keep living like that's all there is, you'll never know how powerful you could be. You weren't born to blend in. You were built to break patterns, burn blueprints, and build from scratch. If you're brave enough to see the lie and walk away, winners and losers ain't born different. They think different. That's it. That's the whole game. Losers wait for motivation. Winners create movement. Losers need someone to cheer them on. Winners show up even when no one's clapping. You think the gap between you and the life you want is talent? Nope. It's mindset. It's waking up tired and still doing the work. It's hearing no and grinding anyway. It's being broke and still thinking like a millionaire because your mind eats before your pockets ever do. You ever seen someone with half your skill, half your heart, but triple your results? It's not luck, it's mindset. They decided to stop asking for permission, to stop waiting for approval. They moved like it was already theirs, while you hesitated, doubted, waited for a sign. Let me tell you something. The sign you're waiting for is already inside you. Your results will always expose your routine. So check your patterns. Are you living on purpose or on autopilot? Do you make decisions based on vision or on vibes? Winners adapt, they adjust, they execute no matter what. You want different? Then think different. Stop saying I can't and start asking, how can I? Because the only difference between a comeback and a collapse is the conversation you're having in your head. You don't need a new life. You need a new lens. Most of y'all out here thinking you're cursed, stuck, doomed, when really you're just looking at the storm from the wrong angle. See, perspective is power. It's the difference between panic and peace, between quitting and climbing. You call it a setback, I call it training. You see rejection, I see redirection. You feel like it's the end, I feel like it's the beginning. That's the shift, that's the secret. You keep asking, why me? But what if the real question is, what is this trying to build in me? Every time life hits you, you got two options. Break or bounce. That's it. And the ones who bounce, they ain't special. They just decide to stop giving pain power it didn't earn. You gotta start seeing pain as data, as information, as feedback from the battlefield, not a verdict, not a sentence. When I almost died from a facial infection, I could have cried, but I chose to listen to the lesson. The swelling taught me something the success never could, that I was still here, still fighting, and still full of purpose. If you shift your view, your whole world changes. That's why winners win, not because they avoid storms, but because they use the wind to fly. Most people ain't stuck because they don't know what to do. They're stuck because they refuse to do what they already know. Let that sink in. It's not a knowledge problem. It's a courage problem. It's fear in disguise. You keep saying you're confused, but really, you're scared to commit. Scared that if you try and fail, it proves something ugly about you. So you stall, you delay, you build a mansion out of what ifs. But here's the truth. Fear is loud, but obedience to fear is louder. You obey it every time you stay quiet when your soul wants to scream. You obey it every time you settle for less because at least it's stable. You obey it when you downplay your own gifts just to make other people feel more comfortable. And you wonder why nothing moves, why nothing shifts. You've built a prison with invisible bricks, and the key's been in your pocket the whole time. But using that key, that means responsibility. That means owning your flaws, your patterns, your pain. And most people would rather blame life than face that mirror. But I'll tell you this, no mirror has ever lied. You want to get unstuck? Then stop waiting for someone to rescue you from a cage you built and start tearing the walls down, one bold move at a time. 'Cause stuck is just another word for scared, and scared can't ride with destiny. Your emotions are real, but they're not always right. And if you don't learn how to manage them, they'll manage you. One moment of anger can wreck your whole future. One moment of doubt can kill a dream that's been years in the making. One bad day can become a bad week, a bad month, a bad life. If you don't get your grip on the wheel, emotions are tools, not truth, not law, not leaders. And too many people let how they feel tell them who they are. Let me make this clear. You're not your emotions. You're the driver, not the weather. I've had moments where I was ready to quit everything, where pain had my chest tight, tears right there, fists clenched, but I still showed up, still worked, still led, because I knew feelings fade, but outcomes last. You ever send that text out of anger and regret it 5 seconds later? That's proof right there. Feelings lie, and if you let them run your life, you'll end up in places you never meant to go. That's why winners breathe first, process later, then respond. They don't panic, they don't snap, they don't break down every time pressure shows up. They own the moment, they pause when it hurts, and then they move with precision. 'Cause power ain't in yelling, it's in mastering the quiet storm inside you. Learn to feel everything, but react to nothing. Look, you can lie to your friends, lie to your boss, lie to your feed, but if you're lying to yourself, you already lost. You can't fix what you won't face. You can't grow from what you keep hiding. And I get it. It's hard to look in the mirror and say, I'm the problem. But that's where the shift happens. That's where the power lives. You want results? Then be ruthless with your self-assessment. No fluff, no filters, no pity parties. You late too much? Fix it. You lazy on the weekends? Change it. You spend more time planning than doing? Own it. Then crush it. This is what separates dreamers from doers. Action. Cold, unsexy, unfiltered action. You want to track progress? Start journaling your wins. Start auditing your time. Start asking, is what I'm doing today getting me closer or keeping me comfortable? That's how you build momentum. That's how you build trust with yourself. You show up, no matter what. When it's dark, when it's cold, when nobody's watching, you execute. Because no one's gonna hold your hand all the way to your destiny. You gotta build habits that slap you awake, systems that keep you in line, rituals that don't care how you feel, only that you move. Success don't belong to the smartest. It belongs to the most honest and the most consistent. Half in, half out. That's why you're still where you are. You dip your toe in purpose, then run back to comfort. You make a move, then overthink it. You talk about what you're gonna do, but your actions whisper, and the world don't listen to whispers. It responds to force, to boldness, to people who move like their name already holds weight. You say you want it bad, but your hustle says maybe. You're not tired. You're undecided. You're not overwhelmed. You're undercommitted. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you went all in? Not halfway. Not when it felt good. Not when it was convenient. But when it was scary, messy, uncertain. That's the test. That's where growth lives. You can't serve two masters. You can't chase greatness and comfort at the same time. So choose. Choose to burn the backup plan. Choose to cut off the exit routes. Choose to throw your whole self into the thing you say you love. Because if you don't, it'll never love you back. You gotta move like the outcome's already written. Like your legacy depends on this moment. Because it does. You think playing small protects you, but all it really does is starve your future. So stop shrinking. Stop explaining. Stop asking permission. And go all in. Loud, bold, relentless, or don't go at all. Mental toughness ain't a vibe. It's a decision. It's not born. It's built, brick by brick, pain by pain. You think strength is loud? Nah, it's quiet. It's the voice that says, get up, when everything in you screams, stay down. It's running toward the fire while others run away. It's doing that one more rep, one more email, one more uncomfortable thing, not because it feels good, but because you said you would. That's toughness. It's being tired, disrespected, underestimated, and still locked in. It's handling betrayal without breaking, taking hits and never folding, pushing when your legs shake, moving when your mind says, quit. I've seen people outwork their pain, not because they were superhuman, but because they refused to stay average. You want to know who's built different? It's the ones who got every reason to tap out, but don't. The ones who grew up in chaos, got cut from teams, mocked, doubted, dumped, and still rose. That's the difference. They didn't wait to feel ready. They made themselves ready, in the gym, in the dark, in silence, while no one clapped, while no one saw. Mental toughness is refusing to let your circumstances write your story. You write it every time you refuse to fold, every time you keep showing up, every time you remind yourself, this ain't the end, it's just the warm-up. There's a switch that winners flip. And once it's on, it stays on. It's called the no matter what mentality. No matter the weather, no matter who quits, no matter who doubts them, no matter what obstacle shows up, they keep going. No pause, no pity, just pressure applied. See, most people work when it's easy, when they're inspired, when everything lines up just right. But real beasts, they grind when it's raining pain, when the energy's low, when the world says, take a break. That's when they go harder. Because they know life don't care about your excuses. It only responds to your execution. You gotta be dangerous with your discipline, obsessed with your outcome, so locked in that even your distractions get tired of chasing you. I've had moments where quitting seemed like the smart move, where everything in me said, sit down. But I stood up because I promised myself something, and I keep my word. Not to the world, to me. This is about inner loyalty, about doing what you said you do, long after the feeling you had when you said it is gone, no matter what. That's how legacies are built. That's how kings and queens are forged. And if you don't choose that mindset, the world will choose for you, and it'll choose average every single time. Pressure ain't your enemy. It's your gym. It's the weight you were meant to lift, not the wall you were meant to hide behind. Everybody wants the crown, but nobody wants the crushing. The truth is, pressure don't break people. It reveals them. And if every time things get heavy, you fold, then you were never ready to rise. See, winners walk toward pressure. They don't avoid hard conversations. They don't run from expectations. They don't collapse when life gets loud. They lean in because they know diamonds ain't born in comfort. They're made in chaos. I've felt it. The silence before a big move, the heat of leadership, the eyes watching, waiting, hoping you fail. And I didn't back down because I knew. How I handle pressure is how I handle power. You want to be a leader? Then stop wishing for peace and start training for war. That means breathing when your chest is tight, smiling when your back's against the wall, and speaking truth even when your voice shakes. Pressure ain't a punishment. It's proof that you're chosen. If you weren't built for this, you wouldn't feel it. So next time the weight hits, don't panic. Posture up. Push back. Push through. Let pressure teach you, not terrorize you, because that's what makes you built different. That voice in your head, the one saying you're not smart enough, not strong enough, not worthy, that voice is a liar. And it's been living rent-free in your mind for way too long. You weren't born doubting yourself. Somewhere along the way, somebody gave you a label, a limit, a lie, and you believed it. Your teacher said you weren't gifted. Your parents said you'd never be anything. Your ex said you were too much or not enough. And now you carry those words like chains. But I'm here to tell you, those beliefs are not facts. They're fear in costume. They're old echoes you never challenged. You want to break free? Start calling those lies what they are, lies. You're not broken. You're becoming. You're not behind. You're being built. You're not stuck. You're standing at the edge of your next level, but you gotta leap. Even if your legs shake, even if your voice cracks, you gotta replace that I can't with I'm learning, that I'm not ready with I'm willing. You think belief is something you wait for? Nah, you build it. One decision, one rep, one risk at a time. Until one day, you wake up and realize you were never lacking, just listening to the wrong voice. Kill the noise, rewrite the narrative, and don't wait for permission. Just move like you already broke the curse. Fear ain't real. It's a story, a scary movie your mind plays on loop, with no villain, no climax, just you running from shadows. You think fear protects you, but it paralyzes you. You think doubt keeps you humble, but it keeps you small. Let's get real. Fear is just a future you made up, a disaster that hasn't even happened, but you treat it like gospel, like truth, like prophecy. You're scared to speak up, scared to take the leap, scared to be seen, but for what? Failure? Rejection? Looking stupid? Newsflash. Everybody who's winning now once looked crazy, once got laughed at, once took a loss, but they didn't let that stop them. They kept swinging, kept showing up, kept moving while their knees knocked, because they knew courage isn't loud. It's just action in the face of fear. You can't think your way out of fear. You act your way through it. Want to kill doubt? Move. Want to crush fear? Decide. Decide that who you're becoming is more important than who you've been. Decide that one uncomfortable step is better than a lifetime of regret. You don't need to be fearless. You need to stop waiting for fear to leave before you move. Let it ride in the car. Just don't let it touch the wheel. Failure ain't final, it's foundational. Every scar you carry, every L you took, every time you got laughed at, that's bricks. Bricks in the castle of your comeback. You think failing means you're not good enough, but what if it means you're close? Real close. Because only people who move fast enough to fall are people who are chasing something worth falling for. Most folks avoid failure like it's poison, but it's not. It's protein. It feeds growth. It fuels clarity. You learn more from your losses than your wins. I failed in love. I failed in school. I failed in leadership. And every time I either folded or I forged something better. I've been embarrassed, been humbled, been hit so hard I forgot what winning felt like. But I kept going. 'Cause that's the mindset. That's what being built different is. Not avoiding failure, but using it, studying it, folding the lessons into your DNA so deep they start guiding your instincts. You don't get strong by winning. You get strong by falling, by failing, by fighting for breath and still standing up. So don't fear the fall. Fear standing still. Fear not trying. Fear living safe and dying silent. 'Cause failure's not your enemy. It's your GPS. It's redirecting you to greatness. If you've got the guts to keep walking, right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now, you've got a choice to make. You can keep blaming your past, your pain, your parents, your paycheck, or you can own your future. Own it loud. Own it messy. Own it without a script. You've heard the truth. You felt the sting. Now what? You gonna nod your head and go back to scrolling? Or you gonna do something that actually shifts your life? Most people won't. That's just facts. Most people will hear this and treat it like entertainment. Like it's another episode of their favorite feel-good show. They'll say, "That was fire," and then do nothing. But not you. Not today. You didn't make it this far, survive what you survived, endure what you endured, just to stay stuck in the same excuses that got you here. You're breathing. You're reading this, which means you're still in the fight. Still got time to make a move. Still got power in your hands. But that power expires every time you hesitate, every time you overthink, every time you whisper, "Maybe later." So here's the call. What will you do today? Not what will you plan. Not what will you dream. What will you do? Because action is louder than hope. And the world ain't changed by people who think. It's changed by people who move. One decision, that's all it takes. Not a full plan, not a perfect setup. Just one bold, clear, no turning back decision. That's how it starts. You think change is complicated. It's not. It's just hard. And most people confuse hard with impossible. But I'm telling you, your entire life can shift from one decision. One moment where you stop being scared, stop being nice to your fears, stop being polite to your excuses, and you decide. Decide to speak up. Decide to show up. Decide to stop playing small. That's the power you've always had, not in some long checklist or 12-step formula, but in one choice that says, "I'm done waiting." You think you need more motivation, but what you really need is courage. Courage to say yes when it's risky. Courage to say no when it's tempting. Courage to bet on yourself when no one else will. I've made those decisions. When I left the streets behind, when I joined the military, when I stepped into leadership, none of it was easy, but all of it was worth it because one decision led to the next, and eventually a whole new identity. You're one decision away from a version of yourself you haven't even met yet. So, what are you waiting for? Permission? Comfort? Clarity? Or are you ready to just decide? There is no perfect moment. None. That moment you keep waiting for, where the fear disappears, the money shows up, your confidence peaks, your circle claps. It doesn't exist. It's a fairy tale, sold to you by comfort, kept alive by your hesitation. You think success waits for conditions to be ideal? It doesn't. Success moves with urgency. It shows up where it's messy, where it's loud, where it's inconvenient. You don't rise when things are easy. You rise when you move anyway. You keep stalling, saying, I just need to get my life together. But what if getting your life together starts by moving before it's together? You're not stuck. You're stalling. And deep down, you know it. You know that the window doesn't stay open forever. You know opportunities don't circle back just because you were scared the first time. The people who win, they don't wait. They create the moment. They make decisions while they're scared. They build while they bleed. They speak before their voice is ready, because they understand this. Delay is denial in disguise. You think you have time, but time ain't promised. All you have is this breath, this second, this spark. So strike now before the doubt drowns it, before the world talks you down, before another excuse steals your future. Perfect is a lie, but now is real, being built. Different ain't something you're born with. It's something you choose every single day. You ain't special just because you struggled. You're special because you refuse to let the struggle define you. It's not about having the best start. It's about making the hardest choices, when quitting would have been easier. You think being built different means having better genes, better luck, better support. Nah. It means you decided to stop blaming, stop begging, stop waiting, and you started building. It's a choice to show up when you're exhausted, to speak truth when it's unpopular, to walk alone when the crowd's going the wrong way. It's a decision to rise when your heart's broken, to smile when your soul's tired, to execute when no one's watching. And the best part, anyone can choose it. Anyone. You don't need a degree. You don't need followers. You don't need permission. Just decide right now that you're done with average, done with soft habits, done with being the watered-down version of who you were born to be. Some people wait, some people wish, but the ones who win, they work, they bleed, they sweat, they build a legacy with broken hands and still keep swinging. Built different ain't a title, it's a lifestyle. So what's it gonna be? Talk or transformation? Sit with it. Let it breathe. Let it hit you in the chest. Let it make you uncomfortable, angry, inspired. Whatever it has to do, don't rush past this feeling. Don't numb it. Don't scroll it away. Because this is the moment. The one where something in you either wakes up or stays asleep. You've heard the truth. You've seen the mirror. Now it's on you. You can't unhear what was said. You can't go back to pretending. This is the line in the dirt. The point where you either step forward into ownership or fall backward into excuse. Nobody's judging you, but your results will, your future will, your kids will, your reflection will. So breathe, not like the world told you to. Breathe like you've got fire in your lungs, like this is your chance to exhale the old you and inhale the one who's ready. Because whether you act or not, this message ain't leaving you. It'll echo in your decisions, in your relationships, in your habits, reminding you that you were told the truth, loud, raw, and real, and that truth demands action, not applause, not approval, just movement. This ain't motivation, this is a mirror, and you either build something or you break under the weight of never becoming who you were called to be. Here it is, the truth most won't say, the one that burns going down, but frees you if you let it. No one's coming. Not now. Not tomorrow. Not ever. That hero you're hoping for, you're looking at them in the mirror. It's always been you. You've just been too scared, too tired, too distracted to believe it, too caught up in waiting, wishing, watching others rise, while you shrink yourself to fit a life that doesn't even light you up. But the truth? It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just is. And the hardest truth of all is this: if you don't save you, no one will. If you don't fight for your future, no one can. If you don't take the first step, you'll die in place, regretting the silence, regretting the safety, regretting the potential that never touched pavement. This isn't about hype. It's about hunger. This isn't about being lucky. It's about being done with excuses, done with being the watered-down version of yourself. So now, it's quiet. No music, no applause, just your decision. You either rise or you repeat. That's the choice. That's the cost. That's the truth.